Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to elaborate on my last video. I'm reading some comments and stuff, and it's just the easiest way for me to get a point across or an opinion is to just turn the camera on and make another video about it, as opposed to trying to, send personal messages to people and stuff like that. Plus, just to elaborate on everything I said. And when I'm making a video, it's never scripted. I just turn the camera on, and first off, to comment on someone else's comments. Jacob Polson wrote, rambling. This video could have been 10 seconds long, laugh out loud. And by the way, I'm referring to my video, I Can't Afford It, and That's Overpriced, where I talk about, people's statements that they make all the time, specifically regarding knives, but of course all about products in general. To reply to Jacob, yeah, I can make a point in about 10 seconds. I can make really short videos. In fact, the most popular channels on YouTube, if you've noticed that trend, it's very much choppy, very edited, very short videos. And that's because I think, the attention span of people these days is so short. People, you get about a minute, 2 minutes maybe of someone's time, then they start drifting off. Oh, what's that? It's just like, people don't like long videos. They can't like focus on it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because our kids have been eating chicken nuggets for the last 20 years and everyone has ADD. Couldn't tell you. But anyway, to elaborate on my comment to you, yes, I can make shorter videos, but like I said, when I turn the camera on, the feel that I'm trying to portray is that you're just hanging out with me and we're talking as friends, as buddies. I'm not trying to make a very scripted television show. You know what I mean? It's not, and the goal is not to make the shortest video possible, nor is it to make the longest video possible. It just happens to be whatever it is. When I turn the camera on, I start talking. When I feel I'm done talking, I shut it off. I'm not really focused on the time. And to be honest, I'd probably have 1 million subscribers right now if I just did that. If I focused on very short, to the point, very edited stuff. But I choose not to. Would I like more success on YouTube? Would I like 1 million subscribers? Yeah, but to what extent? What am I going to do? I'm not going to change who I am. I just like doing this kind of stuff. That's all. Turn the camera on, talk a little bit, shut it off. By the way, when it rains, it pours. If you hear a fan in the background, it's because I have a heater here. My electric broke in the office here. I have baseboard electric, and it's just not working anymore. And it's snowing outside, and we're supposed to get some more snow, and it's like -2. So, yippee for me. I'm going to be really happy when this winter is over. This has been a rough one. It's been damn cold, like record-breaking. So, anyway, moving on to the point of this video. This is to elaborate, again, on my video, I Can't Afford It, and That's Overpriced. A lot of people have really good comments so far, and I actually got a couple of private messages that were very good, expressing people's feelings, but I wanted to elaborate on some of the comments. Now, unfortunately, if your YouTube account's not linked with Google Plus and you can't comment, or I can't reply to your comment, I don't know how it works. Whatever. Some people I can reply, some people I can't. I literally, there's no way to reply to you on a comment on the video because of Google Plus interaction. So, I'm going to do it like this, through the video. So this is just I have 2 comments here I want to talk about and elaborate a little bit on. The first one is from Mr. Loud Lightning. And he wrote, I have a passion for knives and I understand what you're trying to say. However, for the materials and work that goes into one of those knives, I can't see where the $500 price tag came from. Now, this is an opinion that a lot of people share. A lot of people feel the same way. Like, if a knife's 200 or 300 or 400 or 500 or more, they kind of think like, let's say a knife's 500 bucks, okay? Why is it $500? I don't have $500 worth of titanium. $500 worth of titanium might be like, I don't know, a 100-pound block of titanium. That knife does not have 100 pounds of titanium in it. You know what I mean? How much does that blade cost? Really? $500? Is that a $500 piece of steel? No, it's not. There's a lot of factors that go into the price of knives. One of the biggest factors, beside the actual cost of materials, is the time of the artist. Okay, we will say artist because I feel a lot of people who are passionate about knives do consider knife makers to be artists. They, make art in the form of a tool, a precision tool. And their time is where the extra money comes from. This could be related to other hobbies. I'm not going to go into examples. It's just going to, make the video longer than it has to be. But, and I was thinking about this comment for a second. I was trying to think of a good comparison. And I mean, like, you could say a doctor. Think about what a doctor gets paid. A doctor gets thousands and thousands of dollars for doing surgeries, for an hour, maybe 2 hours of their time, thousands and thousands of dollars. Anyone could cut open a chest, take a tool, lift a kidney, make a snip here, sew it up a little bit. There's old ladies that can sew a hell of a lot better than some doctors. But why isn't the old lady getting the money? It's because the doctor is doing a precision job. That doctor is qualified to do that specific task. And you're paying them for their time. Now, I personally don't think that it's worth it. But if I need a surgery or something, I don't really have an option. Now, that's not directly, comparing it to knives, because you don't need knives like you would need a surgery. But I want you guys to think outside the box. Question everything. Why does a doctor get paid so much money? Why do realtors get such a large commission for showing you a house? Oh, great. They showed up with a key that fits the lock. They opened it up and they said, hey, there's the living room, there's the kitchen. If you want to buy the house, call this person. Why do they get 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand for doing that? Is it worth it? I see that the same as you see a $500 not being worth it because of what goes into it. You know what I mean? But what you don't see or don't think about is the doctor going to school for 10 years, paying $1 million in schooling. You don't see the realtor actually sitting at her office and doing all the research for everything. It's behind the scenes stuff that you don't consider. It's not all about the exact amount of money that goes into a knife. If you have a $500 knife, it doesn't mean you're going to get $500 worth of titanium and S30V. Okay? You're paying for a person's time, and time is money. And above that, even if you consider those factors, and you think, well, you know what, that guy's time isn't worth it. That's fine. That's your opinion. But why is it if someone doesn't personally want to buy something, or someone personally thinks it's too expensive, why should that item not exist? Just because it's not for you, some people get angry and say, well, it shouldn't be like that. It's not worth it. It's overpriced. This is what I was talking about before. There's a lot of stuff that I would never buy in my entire life, but I don't get upset that it exists, and I don't get upset that other people buy it. It's just like with gun stuff. Like, I never understood how, like, if one guy makes a video saying he carries a .22 pistol around for self-defense, that someone else thinks he's retarded or thinks he's stupid. They put him down for his decision because they don't feel it's the best decision. Why? It's so ridiculous to me. It really, really is. That person is not affected by this other guy. Why do people get so upset over that? People get upset. I mean, I want to say some of it's jealousy, but it's not always the case. Sometimes it's jealousy. I honestly think that some people, just in their minds, they just think like it's just not worth it. There's nothing wrong with that. And I said that in the first video. There is nothing wrong with just, not thinking it's worth it. It's obviously not worth it to you. But these things sell. It's supply and demand. When I went to Blade Show, I would love for some of these people commenting and saying like, $400 knife, $500 knife, folder, forget that. I would love, if I had money to do so, to fly you out and go to, I can't even go, so I don't know, have you go, but I would love for you to go to Blade Show and just see hundreds and hundreds of people with thousands and thousands of dollars being spent on folders. $500 a piece, $800 a piece, $1,500 a piece. I would love for you to see that, because this is the reality of things. The reality of things is that there are a lot of people with money to spend on this kind of stuff. Some people have it to spend, some people don't, but they're spending it anyway. They're not prioritizing. But there's always going to be a market for this stuff. There's always going to be a market for expensive items. Now, really expensive items is not part of my life. I'm not rich, and a lot of you guys watching are not rich. Very few people watching this just have tons of extra money to spend on hobbies. But there's people who buy knives and they literally spend $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year on knives. And it's hard for someone who buys a $20 knife once a year to relate to that person's life. You just can't. Some people don't know what it's like walking into a house with 6 bathrooms and 20 bedrooms and an indoor pool. I don't know what that's like. That's not my life. But that guy is used to buying $700, $800 knives. I can't relate with him. You know what I mean? It's just different. But because I can't relate with him doesn't mean that everything he does is stupid and everything he does is overpriced. It's just that person's life. So sometimes you have to step out of your situation and your life and understand that people are different. Lots of poor people, lots of middle class people, lots of rich people. We can't all relate with each other constantly. And this is just another example of that where, you personally might not spend more than $50 on a knife, but it doesn't mean that $500 folding knives are overpriced. It's just not for you. It's not for a lot of people. So you're not alone in that at all. Now, the biggest thing that I want to make in this comment is it's not always about something being worth it. Now, I can make the argument that this knife is worth it for this reason or whatever, but sometimes you just want something. There are $500 knives that I personally don't think are worth it because of the materials used, because of the time it takes. A lot of people get criticized now because, the custom world has been kind of split. And there's a lot of people doing, custom knives from scratch, like literally just taking a chunk of steel and turn it into a beautiful knife. And there's other people who are getting, blanks made. So they basically have the knife kind of shaped already, and they're elaborating on that. Now, I still feel that's a custom knife, but it's to a different level of custom. And some of those knives are getting the same prices as the people making knives from a hunk of steel. So some people may have the opinion that the pre-made customs, as some people would call them, aren't worth as much as the other ones, yet they get the same price. Worth is very subjective. Value is very, very subjective. I'm not asking you guys to agree that $400 or $500 folders are worth it. I'm just asking you to understand why it might be worth it to someone else. But overall, what's most important is that a lot of people are buying these knives. A lot of people are spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year on knives because they want them. It's really that simple. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be this master scheme of this is worth it because of this is worth. No. They just want it. There's something to be said about wanting something that's cool, or wanting something that's known for its quality, or wanting a name. How many people are walking around with name brand shirts, name brand shoes? Are Jordan shoes worth it? You can get a $20 pair of shoes at Walmart. Yeah, they're going to fall apart before your Jordans. But, are the Jordans, what are they doing for a lot of people? I'll tell you why people get Jordans. Some of them get them because they're comfortable sneakers. A lot of people get them because they're friggin' Jordans. And because they want that allure of people looking at their shoes and thinking they're damn cool. There is nothing wrong with wanting something because it's cool, or wanting something because other people want it. It's not necessarily a good thing. I personally wouldn't suggest, wanting things because other people want them. Not everyone thinks like that, but there are people who do. Look at all the people out there who buy $1 million homes to show off. I'll tell you, I had a friend growing up, and his parents had a friggin' mansion. And they had patio furniture in their living room because they couldn't afford furniture. They spent everything they possibly had on this massive mansion. Okay, huge, huge house. I forget, some ridiculous 25,000 square foot home. Crazy, crazy stuff, okay? But they can only afford to do so by not having everything inside. You know what I mean? It was like a shell. And it's because this specific family, I'm not going to name them or anything, but this specific family was all about looking good to their neighbors, looking good to their friends. They were very fake people. Now, the kid who I was friends with, really, really nice kid. He had nothing to do with his parents. He can't control what his parents do. But his parents were very pretentious, just very they just had this mansion, they had their sports car, and, in being friends with him, I knew that they were totally in debt. But they couldn't afford to furnish this massive home they bought. They bought that home because they wanted people to look at them and be jealous. Now, I personally don't think that's right. But that's their prerogative. That's what they did with their money. Does that mean $1 million home is not worth it? Well, a lot of people would think so. But how many $1 million homes are sold every year? Some people have money and they spend it because they can. We can't relate with those people, but it doesn't mean they're stupid. It doesn't mean those things are overpriced. It's just not part of our world. And there's a lot of things that are bought every single day just because people want them. How many people out there own, Beats by Dre stuff just because it's popular? Yeah, the quality might be there for some people, but other people don't care about the quality. They just want that look. They want to fit in with society. Society makes something cool, and you just got to get it. When you get into knives, unfortunately, there's a lot of people who see everyone's got Striders, everyone's got Sabenzas, everyone's got this custom, everyone's got Rick Hinderers. Now I need a Rick Hinderer because I'm not cool if I don't have a Rick Hinderer. You know what I mean? People think that way. It's natural. Everyone wants to fit in. Everyone wants to be part of the group and just have what other people have. So that plays a huge role in every product, in every single hobby. Someone just used a comment about vaping, the vaping community. They said this is a very, big debate constantly, and it's never ending. And I replied to them. I said, yeah, it's never ending. There'll always be, in any hobby, the expensive version of something, and the people down here who can't afford it or just don't want to spend the money on it, they poo-poo it. They say, yeah, that's stupid, that's overpriced, I don't know why someone would spend that much. But on the other side of the spectrum, there's people buying that kind of crap, and they like it. They like it either because they feel cool or because it really is a good product and it's worth the extra money. But no one's wrong here. You know what I mean? No one has a wrong opinion. It's just an opinion. It's just, it's how you want to spend your money. If you think someone's stupid for buying a $400 knife, that's cool. That's your prerogative. That's your opinion. And you're, rightfully allowed to have that opinion. But it doesn't change how those people think who are buying it. So anyway, let me see. There's another comment here. This one's from Parker Chief 1. Or no, Parker Chief, I think it's 1 hour ago. I just copied and pasted this real quick. $400 for a folder, Jeff. Get real. I love your videos, man, but I have to disagree with you on this one from a common man's view. Most worker. Let me try that again. All right. I love your videos, man, but I have to disagree with you on this one from a common man's view. Most working Joes can't afford it. And I own some $200 and $300 knives. I agree with you on saving. Credit cards have gotten too many young people in trouble in our you can have it all now society. And I do agree with that too. Of course, that's a whole separate issue on credit cards. I can make a whole video just talking about that kind of stuff. And I probably will in the future for the younger viewers because I have a lot of experience with credit cards and making mistakes and learning from my mistakes and still paying for them. So stay tuned. I will do a video on credit cards and debt in general. But anyway, now this is a person who's buying $200 and $300 knives, but thinks a $400 knife is ridiculous. Now again, a lot of people think you're ridiculous for buying a $200 knife or a $300 knife. So there's just so many different levels to this opinion of things being too expensive. You know what I mean? So, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and I get that. It never will be. And my biggest point here, I don't want people to think that I'm trying to justify expensive knives, because I'm not. I really am not. And I think maybe I was wrong in saying that if you're passionate about knives, you'll get it, because that is maybe the wrong thing to say. You could be passionate about knives and never want to spend more than 20 bucks. That really has nothing to do with it. What I meant to say, I think, is that when you experience these more expensive knives, there's certain things that are offered that just aren't offered with the cheaper knives. And I just made a comment as well as someone else about production versus custom. And there's certain custom knives and they have this certain edge geometry that can only be done with hands-on sharpening. You know what I mean? Hands-on grinding. So performance is limited by production knives. You can only get so good with a production knife, even with better steels and stuff like that. And some of the better, the high-end production knives are still, hand sharpened, hand ground, stuff like that. So, it's just, there's a lot of factors here. I don't have all the answers, by the way. I'm not king shit. I don't think I know everything about knives. Don't think that either. Sometimes I feel bad because, I make a video like this, like a, philosophy type video, I guess you'd call it. And I don't want people thinking that, I feel like I know everything. I don't. I'm just like you. I'm an average friggin' guy just sitting here. I like knives. You like knives too. My opinion doesn't hold any more water than yours does. All right. I have a lot of experience with knives, and I can tell you from having the opportunity to handle so many in such a wide spectrum, from a 50-cent knife to, you know, a $2,000 knife was the most expensive knife I ever handled. Never owned it. But in just handling it, it just, and everything in between. You know, I just have a better understanding of some of the knives. But there's probably hundreds of you guys watching right now who have way more experience than I do in knives. You know, I've handled thousands. Maybe you handle hundreds of thousands. You know, it's just my opinion. That's all. I'm just sharing my thoughts. There's no reason to, you know, take offense to any of this kind of stuff. You know, it's supposed to be lighthearted. It's supposed to be fun. We're just sharing each other's experiences and thoughts and stuff within our own hobby. So anyway, I just wanted to elaborate on those comments because of Google Plus. I was not allowed to do that via typing, so I figured I would make a video doing it. And anyway, that's all. I'm always open to you guys' opinions and feelings, even if they don't agree with me. That's all. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys get where I'm coming from with this whole thing. And just, you know, it's hard because every time you make a video and you try to explain something, specifically something that's highly debatable or controversial, there's always points that you forget, and then someone comments on it and you're like, I should have said this, or oh, I should have said that. It never ends. It's an ongoing thing, and this particular subject of things being overpriced, more specifically than the I can't afford it, the overpriced part of thing is just, it's a heated debate. You know, a lot of people feel very strongly about, you know, things should cost this, you know, and just sometimes you forget everything that goes into it. It's not as simple as, you know, it costs $50 to make this knife. It should cost $50 to sell it. I should buy it for $50. It's just not how the world works. Everyone should know that. When you go get a toy at Walmart that's $19.99, it costs $3 to make in China. You know what I mean? Should you buy it for $3? Well, everyone's got to get paid. Everyone's got to get paid. Everyone's got to feed their families. You know, everyone's got to pay their bills, and you know, you're no different. But try to consider the big picture here and understand a little bit more why some things are more expensive. And obviously the extreme expensive things, sometimes it's just supply and demand. You know, a guy feels my time's worth this amount of money, and he keeps making, you know, this product and people keep buying it, then, you know, that's just how it is. It's you know, capitalism. He's just trying to make some money. So there you go. I will say this though, if someone charges a lot of money for something and it doesn't sell, we can all agree that is overpriced. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope this I hope the room warms up because I'm friggin' cold. I'm still wearing my hat. I just took my jacket off for the video. Ridiculous. I'll see you guys soon. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.